Going hot. We're only 34 minutes late. Of course, nobody holds us to that standard. It's our own standard. We can shoot whenever we want, dagnabbit.
Yeah,
All right, we are hot and live, so hopefully people will jump in and be able to catch us as we do this live. For those of you that catch this and you're new to it, what we do is we're recording a podcast, but we do it live on Facebook so that people can kind of watch us behind the scenes and whatnot. And although everybody seems to do that nowadays, I still claim we were the first ever on planet Earth to do it. We did it a long time ago when nobody was doing it. Now everybody does it. But
I think it was 2014 or 15.
yeah, it was somewhere around there. It was a long time ago we started doing that.
This June is 10 years for us.
My
Did you know
goodness. I had no idea. I wondered, but I had no idea.
that? Yeah.
We'll have to have a celebration where all 5 of our listeners will join us for a party.
That's right.
That's good stuff. All right. So, as I said, if you're new here, we do this live. So, in a minute, we're going to do the official start of the show, and then we'll run through it. And today, we're going to be talking about, well, cameras, shooting video, and how you don't need a camera. Now, I would show you my iPhone when we do that, except that that's where it is. It's my camera. There you go. That other weird thing that Steve's got, too.
I cracked it, too.
Oh, man. My wife today had me send her the little number inside the phone, so I have a feeling we're switching something or other. Maybe I'll get another new phone. We'll see.
Yeah, my battery isn't lasting as long as it used to, so, it's
Mine
probably
still
just
does.
a matter of time.
On this iPhone 13, I mean, it goes, the end of the day, sometimes I still got half left, and I'm
No
using it all
kidding.
day.
No, end of the day, I'm like 15% and got to plug it in. Now, that being said, it charges like boom, it just charges up real fast. So,
All right.
anyway,
Well, let's get into it. Are we ready to
All
get
right.
this show on the road here?
we are.
All right. So before we do that, let me just test everything and make sure that it actually works.
Turn down the sound.
This is the best song ever made.
All right. That was for Steve.
Turn the sound back up.
Yep. He loves it. He loves it. All right. Here we go. And in 5, 4, 3. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about shooting video and what kind of camera you might need or not need. We're going to find out. And speaking of shooting video, if you want to shoot professional video and you want to sound and look good, well, you got to head over to our good friends at Movo, where you can pick up things like lapel microphones and studio microphones, desktop USB microphones, lights, stands, and a whole bunch of other stuff that will make you look professional no matter how you shoot your video. Whether you use a traditional video camera, a DSLR, or, as we're going to talk a lot about today, your smartphone, you'll be able to do it like a professional when you head on over to Movo. In fact, one of the great things they have is their smartphone kits, and they come with everything that you need. So they'll come with a stand to hold it, you can stick it on a tripod, and they'll come with a light, and they'll come with a microphone, and they'll have different packages to suit your specific needs. You can check all of that out by heading on over to raiselinks.com/Movo. Let them know that I sent you, and they'll say, who's that?
Yeah.
Anyway, do it anyway. Let them know I sent you. Head on over to Movo. You'll love it. All right, with that, let's just hit our music. Here we go.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
Speaking of sick, if I get into a coughing jag, forgive me. I'm just getting over a sinus infection.
Make sure you hit that cough button.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's been a couple of times where I've been recording stuff, and then boom, it just hits before I can even get the cough button. So anyhow, I think I'm better today, though. Hey, it's the radio show about Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. And check out my YouTube channel, Steve Sleeper Trains, and got a little update on that.
Oh boy, we can't wait to hear more about trains.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is more about the YouTube channel and shorts than anything else. So, shorts were working really well for me. I mean, I was getting 1,000 views, couple thousand views, and then it kind of went down to a couple hundred views. And then all of a sudden, YouTube just went, we don't like it. And zero, 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 zero. Now, in the meantime, my regular full-length videos are, if there's 150 views, 50 of them came from subscribers, 100 came from YouTube recommendations, and that's just day in and day out and all the time. So I thought that was interesting. And I don't really blame YouTube because the shorts, people are looking for cat videos and stuff and scaring people in an escape room and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I guarantee if you caught a train running somebody over.
Yeah, oh yeah. I don't think I want to do that, though. But, it'd have to be something really unusual.
I'd set something up.
But one of the things that I found is that there are a lot of train enthusiasts out there. Really are. I mean, they're
at least
called
1,000,
rail
right?
fans. Yeah, at least 1,000. And I get, I get good views from my subscribers too. Now, I started with a old marketing channel to do this train thing that had been around for 10, 15 years, and I had 800 subs. But since I did the train thing, I've added like 300 subs, and out of those 300, it's maybe 250 subs. I get 50, 60. Subscribers watching the videos, and they watch them a lot longer than the the recommendations, which makes sense. So that's pretty cool.
That is good. That's always a good thing.
So anyhow, that's one thing I noticed. I don't know if they changed the algorithm with shorts or whatever.
Well, I think they've changed something because I also, we were doing an experiment where we were putting all these short videos up, and it's just, Justin would put like 5 or 10 videos every single day, these short videos. And for a while it was starting to grow and grow, and then all of a sudden it just cut off.
Okay.
So they're doing something to kind of control what's happening.
Well, it used to be if you did a short, you got at least one in every 4 shorts you got rewarded for doing a short.
And I still do on some of my channels. I'll get, I'll get 100 here, 200 there, and then all of a sudden it'll be like 10,000, and then it just depends. And that's for not for anything too exciting. So the fact that I get any views on that is usually a pretty good sign. So.
Well, now here's another one. Speaking of algorithm change, Google, and I shared this article with you the other day. In fact, I may have been the one that discovered it first. So I log in to see something, and I Google DUI lawyer, I don't know, Jackson, Mississippi, whatever. I forget what it was, but it was DUI lawyer, some town. And there were no Google business profiles. And for about a half hour, 45 minutes the other day, there were no Google business profiles at all. And I put something in one of my mastermind groups, and they said, yeah, it's probably they're rolling out an update, and it's probably just a glitch. And sure enough, after about 45 minutes to an hour, they started coming back. Nice. And but it took pretty much all day for all the keywords we were using to come back. So that was kind of interesting, and if I hadn't been working that day or something, or wasn't searching on stuff, I would have never known. But that they were doing some kind of update. What it was, I don't know.
Well, it does happen, and I still every once in a while I think, oh, why don't I have, where to go? I found that they push them down the page a little bit now on some things.
Yeah,
too.
I've seen that.
A lot.
Although it looks like, don't quote me on this, but I'm thinking they pushed them back up, and that might have been.
They may. Every once in a while, it seems to be down, and I don't know why. And I sit there and think, why is that down?
Yeah. And when he says down, the 3-pack is like,
halfway
still
down the
above
page,
the
so you don't
fold.
see it above the fold.
Yeah, well, or maybe it's not above the fold. Yeah, but they pushed it down. It's still page one, but I think based on just the queries I've done lately, and the queries I've done lately, I'm doing a lot of prospecting, so I'll check the attorney that's interested in talking to me. I'll Google DUI lawyer Tucson, Arizona, and let's say that's where he's at to see, if he's in the three pack. And I've noticed everything I've been querying lately is back up at the top again under the screened ads.
Nice.
So
That's good.
But video cameras, that's what we're here today for.
That is what we are here to talk about, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to talk about with video cameras? Well, of course, you go back into the day. I remember way back in my day, back about 1995 or so, I was using a Panasonic 455, and the 455 was about this big, and it was Super VHS and had a big lens on it, and you could take some pretty low-quality video. And, still a very expensive camera. You're talking about $8,000 cameras at the time or something like that. Had a lot of the bells and whistles, had good audio, but you're still talking about standard definition video. And, yeah, it was good standard definition video, but you're still putting it onto Super VHS, which, if you don't know what that is, most people don't. VHS was your low-quality stuff you did at home. Super VHS was the higher-quality version of that. That was mostly used in mid-level studio situations. Wasn't really used at home or anything like that. I don't know if they ever even released movies on Super VHS. There probably was, but I've never seen one. They just basically were used for shooting video. And, fast forward that to 10 years later, or I guess it was about 12 years later, and when the iPhone came out. Now, when the iPhone came out, it certainly didn't jump in and immediately be, wow, look, we can do all this video. In fact, if I remember correctly, I'm not even sure if it did video when it first came out. That may not have even been a possibility then. But it started the trend towards all of this cell phone stuff. And within a few years, the cell phones were taking pretty good videos. And nowadays, well, my little cell phone, my little smartphone that I'm using right now, will blow away that 455 that cost $8,000 by itself.
Right.
It was sitting on my shoulder weighing 20 pounds. These phones nowadays absolutely take amazing pictures, even with those little tiny lenses, although some of that's changing. I've seen supposed CADs of the next iPhone, and boy, oh boy, I don't know how you're going to put that thing down on a table because it's got a camera sticking out of it that looks like it's ginormous. And, it's only going to make it for better video. And, hey, you know what? If it's going to wobble on a table and take better video, I am perfectly fine with that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I would rather have the better video than have it sit flat on the table. So I'm okay with that. And even like the Google Pixel, which is a pretty good phone. It's not great for video yet, supposedly. In some of the tests, it didn't do too well, but it takes great photographs. That one, it's got a thick one too, but it's got a bar, so it'll still sit on the table, but just kind of at an angle, And the Samsungs, they've got the bump on the side, more like the iPhone does. But they're getting ridiculous too. I think the new version has like 50 lenses on the back.
Oh, does it? This is a 21, so it's a couple years old.
I think the 23 has a fourth camera on it now. I think so. I think there's four of them on there now, which is getting a little bit silly. And especially the way that Samsung does that, where they've got them all in a row like that's going to throw it off. The iPhone obviously has the three big lenses too. They put them in a triangle shape, so they're kind of in the same area. But with Samsung, when they put them in a row like that, going from one camera to the next is going to throw the picture off a little bit. But it still takes amazing videos. All of those things do. And, again, if you could get a $8,000 standard VHS or standard definition Super VHS camera and compare it to an iPhone or an Android phone that takes video in 4K or 8K or even 1080p, there's not going to be any comparison. I mean, it's so much better that it's not even funny. Now, those big cameras had great glass on them, so that part, was really good, but the format itself doesn't lend to allowing those big, nice lenses to really make as much of a difference, unfortunately. But
so here's what I've heard about the phone cameras, iPhone and Android or Samsung Galaxies, is that really the only thing you've got to be careful about is this your small aperture. You just got to really make sure your lighting is good. Now, all my videos are shot outside, so I don't have to worry about light. I just got to make sure the sun's not in front of me. I got to get on the right side of the railroad tracks, for that. But
Yeah.
But
But
that's
I'll
about
tell
it.
you, the thing is, the amount of light that you need nowadays, these cameras are ridiculous with the way they handle light nowadays. Even in dark lighting situations, there's some people complain because they'll shoot something at night and it looks like a daytime shot.
Oh, really?
And they're like, well, it's a nighttime shot. I want a nighttime shot. Why does it look like daytime? And I can tell you, I took just a picture of the front of a restaurant the other day, and I was there at like 8 o'clock at night, and it was dark out. And you look at that picture, you would swear it was taken, midday. It just looked like a daytime shot. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So they are very, very good at that. Now, whether you think that's good or not, who knows?
Yeah.
But with the video you can take, it absolutely blows these, older cameras away. And I wonder, I almost want to go to like a Best Buy and see if anybody even buys video cameras anymore. I know they have them. They still have them there. Does anybody buy a video camera anymore? Like the lower end, I can't imagine many people do.
Well,
when they
there
get their phones.
are some lower end that you can get for $150, I think. And
All those ones that used to be, the nice ones were like $500 or $600, and now you can get those for $100.
Yeah, and this camera that I've shown you like a million times was $800. So I don't know, maybe that people buy it because it's cheaper. I don't know.
Yeah, it just depends, but the quality is just absolutely incredible. So you can get away with that. Now the DSLRs. I'll be completely honest with you. You can take some amazing pictures with DSLRs. Obviously, you got the lenses, and when it comes to shooting video, I've never been a huge fan of it because they're not video cameras. They are still cameras that shoot video, and the quality can be good, but it's a lot more difficult to deal with. It's a lot more difficult to monitor it. You got the little tiny screen on the back. It just, to me, it makes it very difficult. And some of them even still have strong limitations, like 15 minutes is going to cut you off. It's just going to stop your video, and can't do an hour-long video with that. Now, some of them don't. There are actually some newer ones that are really, really good, some that I've been looking at, possibly picking up at some point in time, so that I can have a really nice camera with some lenses and stuff. And those do a lot better. There's a Sony and there's a Panasonic, and I forget the names now. Back in my day, when you wanted to get a video camera, there was Sony, there was Panasonic, and there was Canon, and each one probably had two, a higher end one and a lower and a medium range one, and they each had those two. And now it's like each one of them has like 50 different cameras, and I'm sitting there thinking, why do you need all these different cameras? Like, what's the difference between them? So it gets a little crazy. But when we're shooting with our smartphones, none of that matters. And if you are a business owner and you're going to be going out doing any kind of video, why not use your smartphone? Think of the things that you can do. You can do stuff with your smartphone that even an expensive camera that you buy now can't really do. And what am I talking? I'm talking about the little things, like a lot of the effects that you can put on. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do. Shooting directly for Facebook Live, you're not going to be able to do, really. I mean, there are ways, but for the most part, you're not going to be able to do that, or TikTok, or Reels, or whatever it happens to be. You're not going to be able to do that from these other cameras. YouTube Live, you can do YouTube Live right from your phone. You don't have to worry about that. You buy a DSLR or some sort of nice camcorder, it's not going to have any of those features typically. And then, of course, you got to take that video, take it off of there, and put it on your computer. Well, you can do that with your phones, but you can do that wirelessly in just a few seconds. And usually with the cameras, you got to plug them in, you got to download it. So it's a lot more hassle. So yeah, you may get, with some of them, you may get some better pictures, some better video in certain situations, but you lose out on so much more that why wouldn't you just use your phone? If you're a local plumber, nobody's looking, for red raw videos of what you're fixing. You're fixing a sink, you just need a smartphone. You can get into smaller places. You can take some great pictures with that, and you can do really well. But, Steve, there's always a but, isn't there?
Yes.
There's always a lot of buts. Now,
Or a however.
Yep. You did talk about the aperture earlier. Now, the funny thing about that is, those little DSLRs, their aperture is still very small. They just have a big lens attached to it. With your smartphone, you've got a small aperture. Maybe it's smaller than the DSLR, but The DSLRs is really small too. It's the lens that's different for the most part. And fortunately you can get around that with like these smartphones now. Like we said, they've got my phone here has 3 different lenses on it for different situations. You got a macro lens, you got a wide angle lens, and then you've got the telephoto lens. So you can do different types of shots. But again, you're limited on the glass. Now you can buy lenses for them. In fact, they even sell for the iPhone. They even sell one. It's a lens that you shoot the moon with, and it's 50 times larger than the phone itself. You have to have a tripod just for the lens. And seriously, it's amazing stuff. But you can take shots of the moon, But you don't need to take shots of the moon most of the time. You just need to be able to take good video, and your smartphone is going to do that with microphones, lights, and everything else.
I got a question for you. Did you ever shoot the moon?
No, I did not. That was pretty good. But no.
Yeah, thank
with
you.
these smartphones, you've got all the options to connect your wireless microphones, your lights, your stands. So all of those things can be done. We talked about Movo earlier, and they do have some great kits. They've got ones that have a mini tripod, and they've got a bracket, and the light goes on the bracket, and the wireless microphone goes on the other side of the bracket, and it attaches to the tripod, and the phone goes in the middle, and it does amazing things. It takes amazing pictures, and or video anyway. I keep saying pictures, but I mean video when I say that.
Yeah.
So you can do that with these nice little kits and take some great stuff. You can add lenses, like I said. All of these things are going to enhance your video, but regardless of whether you've got the smartphone or the other cameras, your smartphone is going to give you a lot more options for things it can do that the traditional camera or the DSLR is not going to be able to do. Unfortunately, that's just the limitation of it. You might be able to get slightly better picture in certain situations, or a lot better picture in some situations with some cameras, but you're not going to get the flexibility. And as we like to say, good is good enough, and these smartphones are better than good. So you can really get something great out of that. Now, maybe you don't want to use your smartphone. Maybe you got other reasons. But you can also use things like your tablet or your iPad. And that is also going to take some great pictures. Now, here at the escape room, we've got an old iPad that we use to take pictures with. Kind of sucks. It's old. We need to get a new one. But, and the funny thing is sometimes I'll take a picture with my phone instead, and the quality difference is just night and day. I mean, it's amazing the difference between the two. But with newer tablets, you can take some good pictures. But of course, when you're dealing with tablets, when you're dealing with phones, you do have to be careful because there are some issues that can come along with that. One is the batteries that are in these things. And I want to show you something here. If you're watching, I'll describe it for the listeners, but if you're watching, you'll be able to see this. So we have a program here at our escape room that we have, and it's a rewards program that uses a set of tablets. There's a tablet facing the customer, there's one facing us, and they can put in their number and they get rewards points. When they come back, they can use those rewards points like money and etc. Well, the other day, one of the tablets kind of stopped working. It was kind of frozen up, and so I took it out of its little base to look at it, and I want you to take a look at this. If you see it here. Now, for those of you at home, I'm going to read this to you. I'm showing this little tablet. It's a Lenovo tablet. The battery is so incredibly bloated that it ripped the screen right off the tablet, and the backside that's usually flat has a big pregnancy bump on the back. I mean, it's massive. And the funny thing is, like I said, we've got two tablets there, one for the front and one for us. Well, guess what? Here's the other tablet. It's not quite as bad, but again, the screen is popped off and there's a big bump on the bottom. Wow. So you got to be very, very careful. These non-replaceable, non-changeable lithium-ion batteries, they can blow up like that and literally blow up at some point in time. They will catch fire. Had I not pulled the one out of the kiosk to try and reset it, I might not have noticed that was like that, and it could catch fire. You could literally start a fire with these things. So you've got to be very careful with that. Take that into account. Make sure you keep an eye on that. And it's not just Lenovo. I mean, it's odd that both Lenovos, both just about 2 years old, both have the exact same issue with the batteries. And I actually put out a warning to other local businesses that use the same reward system that we do, because there's quite a few of them. And sure enough, one of the other ones got back to me and said, oh yeah, we had to send ours back for the exact same thing. And it's these Lenovo tablets. They whatever. And you know, you can blame Lenovo, but realistically, I mean, they don't make the batteries. It's a
Yeah.
bad battery, and thought we were over the bad battery thing from a couple years ago, but apparently that is still, well and good. Now, on the opposite side of that, the iPad that we have is much older. There's no issue like that whatsoever. The battery is still great.
Oh.
I have an old iPad at home, no bloating like that. So I think, maybe some of these companies that are selling these cheaper iPads, or excuse me, cheaper tablets, they're probably using a cheaper battery, and that's what you get out of that. So you just got to be very careful. Pay attention to that because it can cause a fire. In fact, they sent me new ones. I've got them in a box right here. They just came yesterday, and I haven't opened it yet. But they want me to send these back to them. I honestly don't think the post office would let me send that back if they knew I was doing it.
Yeah.
Too much danger with that. But you can see, even on this cheap little tablet, it's got the camera, so you could shoot video with these little tablets as well. And again, is it going to be fantastic video on those older little tablets, the cheaper ones? No, but it's probably good enough. And if you get, a nicer tablet, you're going to get even nicer cameras. The phones are going to beat the tablets most of the time, but the tablets can do a good job too. Either way, you're going to get a great video from your phone that you can use for putting on your YouTube channel, putting on your Facebook, for shooting short videos and reels, for doing stories, for all that stuff that you do, TikToks, and you'll be able to help your business get more and more and more by shooting videos, putting them out there, and getting people to view them. And if you use your phone, you're going to do a great job with that. Just make sure, like we talked about earlier, make sure you got decent lighting. Make sure that you've got a microphone, because if you don't have a good microphone, doesn't matter how good your video is. So make sure you got a good microphone. And when we talked about Movo, and we'll talk about them again in a minute, Movo actually sells a lapel microphone that's wired. You plug it into your phone, $18. I mean, you're going to get infinitely better sound for only $18. So it is well worth it. You got to get a good microphone when you're doing these things. And if you can't spend $18 to make it better, come on, what do you do? Right?
Sure. I got a little case study for you along the lines
all right. I like case studies.
Of using a smartphone and getting an audience like in the millions. I interviewed an attorney this week,
Okay.
Lori S. Murray. She's a real pistol too. I really like her. In Columbia, South Carolina. She's a criminal defense attorney, and this is probably not a term she would want me to use, but she's almost got more cases than she can handle. But and
happens.
that's kind of a negative term. She handles them somehow. I think she's like you. She needs 5 hours of sleep a night.
Well, I'm trying to change that, though.
Are you? Okay. But she's 52 years old, and she's still, not an ounce of fat on her. And she's just.
So she's just like me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like me. And I really enjoyed interviewing her. But one of the things that I talked to her about was her TikTok, and I found a bunch of her TikToks online. One of them, she got 1 million views on it. She's got 750,000 followers. Every night she does a new TikTok, and her first couple that got her some followers and got her some views. One of them, she talked about if the cops, let's say they pull you over for a DUI and they can't find anything, and they say, well, could you just come down to the police station and talk to us about it? Don't do that. And her comment was exactly, and pardon my French, they don't give a shit about talking to you. They're just trying to trip you up. Don't ever go down to the police station and talk to them. And then the other one was for college students, if you go to a bar and you got a fake ID, put your fake ID in this pocket and put your real ID in the other pocket. And if you get caught, just say, I don't know why they let me in. Here's my ID, and give them the real ID.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And
wow.
she got now what she's gotten a lot of views over is she is on Fox News and Court TV daily. Now the Fox News is Fox News Carolina, but she's been on the real, the national Fox News a few times, but on a daily basis talking about that Murdoch trial. That crooked attorney down there, and it's almost in her backyard. And so she watches it, and she can comment on all that. So that's helped her cred a lot and her brand a lot. But she's got, but doing the nightly TikToks, and mostly they've been about Murdoch lately. She's got 1 million views on some videos and 750,000 followers. So she had a better idea, and she does it on a daily basis. And she obviously uses her smartphone. She keeps them relatively short. She said the longest one I ever did was 3 minutes, maybe, you know. And I guess there's some streaming software, some kind of software out there that allows you to do a little bit longer on TikTok. So anyhow, I thought...
If you're going live, I think they let you go longer.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
And, I do YouTube lives and Facebook lives, and I know those fairly well. I don't know anything about TikTok. I mean, I've got it on my phone so I can look at other people's videos and stuff, and that's about it. The other thing is when I'm shooting... let's see if I can do this, because this microphone, I got to be like right on top of it. But when I'm shooting my train videos, I'm able to, if I hold it, and you got to be looking at the video to know this, but if I hold it a certain way so that my fingers aren't in front of the, there's no way I can get my thumb in front of the lens.
In front of the lens.
And then I use, on the top of it, I use the volume switches to do the zoom in, zoom out.
Right.
And then, and I'm going to, if I pull the phone in close to me, I'm going to push the mic away to show you. So I've got my elbows resting on my chest like that. It's hard to tell that I'm not using a tripod. Really hard to tell I'm not using. And I can go like that for a 10-minute train, and I'm fine. Where I get into trouble is when the train is farther away, when I'm more than 30 feet from the track, and then that's where I kind of have a hard time, and I got to use a tripod. But I thought that was a neat little tip. If you do, just put your elbows right on your chest. And just make sure you hold it so that you're not going to get your thumb or fingers in the lenses, and then just use the at least on the Samsung you can use the volume switches to zoom in or out, and it looks pretty good. It
Nice.
does okay. Yeah. So just a little tip.
It's amazing what phones can do. It's not it's not all about buying expensive equipment these days. I mean, your phone is an expensive piece of equipment regardless,
Yeah.
but you're going to have that whether you're shooting videos or not. So the fact that you can just take that and shoot amazing videos. And I shoot videos for clients using my phone. I don't bother taking a big camera with me, for most of my client stuff. I usually just use my phone. Why bother?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and you're Ray, the video guy, Well, and... it's not like you're showing up with one of those little Kodak cameras from 15 years ago or 10 years ago.
We used to do that though too.
Oh, I
For
know.
certain things.
And when I would show up with those, that's all you got. Now, if I show up with my phone for something, everybody's so used to it they don't say anything. The other thing that I've gotten pretty good at doing, if I say so myself, is I do a lot of YouTube lives, and I've got to have a clear view of the track for a few miles so I can see the lights coming, because it takes a little time to set it up, but you got to do it quick, to set up a YouTube live, and it all comes down to just muscle memory. Press that, and those work out really well as far as getting views.
Nice.
I especially like it when I go to model train shows, because then I don't have to hurry up and start it, But the takeaway is I found the YouTube lives work. I get rewarded for doing YouTube lives, so just a heads up.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It used to be for a little while the shorts were really doing it, but the lives still, to this day, are something that really make a difference. They can really help you boost your numbers.
Well, YouTube liked my shorts for a while. It got me some subscribers, that's for sure.
Yep. No, that's what happens. It'll get you the subscribers, that's for sure.
So, but I think they're kind of up in the ante on the content now. So, anyhow.
Yeah. Well, now that they're monetizing it and stuff like that, they're probably being a little more careful with what gets put out
You know
there.
what? This did start with the beginning of the monetization. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, my friend.
Can't say I blame them either, right?
No, I don't. I don't. So anyhow,
All right.
yowza.
Well, there you go. That's your little guide to shooting videos in 2023. Use your dang phone. If you don't have a
dang
smartphone,
phone.
where you been?
Yeah, where have you been?
Get one.
Get
Come
one.
on, get one. Get it
Yeah,
on.
even I got one.
Even Steve finally got one. He's not kidding. For the longest time, he still had his little flip phone.
I did that just to annoy my family.
Yeah, well, you lost out for a lot of years.
Yeah, I know, I did. Well, you know, the reason why is when I got out of the direct mail business with banks, I had every level of BlackBerry ever, and when I retired was the last BlackBerry. And I would go somewhere and I'd land and turn my phone on and I'd have 100 emails to answer. And you do that for 20 years and it's like, I don't want anybody to be able to find me. But I finally had to get it because of the video, Had to have it.
There you go.
Yep.
It's good stuff. And speaking of video, if you want to make great video, well, you can rely on our good friends at Movo, who we've talked about a lot today, because they've got everything that you need to turn your smartphone into a full shooting rig. Whether you want to add a light or a microphone, or you want to be able to put it on a nice tripod, you can get all of these things at Movo and a whole lot more. Desktop microphones, you name it, they've got it. So head on over to raiselinks.com to see what Movo can do for you.
Indeed.
And with that, speaking of doing something for you, we're going to play the best song on the internets, and that would be the theme song for this lovely show, and here it comes. You're going to love it.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.